Introduction to plain carbon steels. So steels are the alloy of iron and carbon, in which the carbon content is between 0.008 to 2%, more precisely 2.11% of carbon. So commercial steels always contain some amount of other elements. So these are some impurities or add so these are some impurities which are accidentally present without any insertion or intention. So there is no certain intention to add these impurities. So by nature, first we extract metal from earth, and during that extraction of metal some impurities are present in large percent. So then purification of metal is done, and then during this purification major part of these impurities are removed, but still there is some impurities present in the alloy or steel. So however they are added purposefully sometimes. Okay, so if you add purposefully some impurities or metals, so they are called alloying elements. Okay, so first alloy, steel is the alloy of carbon and iron basically, and there are some impurities, okay, which are naturally present in metal, which is not added purposefully or intended, which are not present without any intention. So these are impurities. Okay, and if you add purposefully some additives or some metals, so these are known as alloying elements. So sulfur, phosphorus are common impurities which come from the coke or ore used in the manufacturing of steels. To overcome the undesirable effect of sulfur, manganese is added in some amount to the steel. So steels with other element in small amount are called plain carbon steels. If the percentage of impurities are very low or negligible, then we can call the steels plain carbon steels. So this is our iron and carbide diagram. Here you can see steels are from the 0.008 to 2%. So only this region is steels region, and thereafter there is cast iron. Okay, so you can see here the 0.25% carbon is mild steel, then 0.25% carbon to 0.54% carbon is medium carbon steel, then up to 0.95% of carbon is high carbon steel, and up to 2.1% of carbon is very high carbon steel. Okay, so these are the some classification of the steels based on the carbon percentage. So classification of steels. So steels are classified as first amount of carbon by based on the amount of carbon percentage, then amount of alloying elements and carbon, then amounts of deoxidation, then grain coarsening characteristics, then method manufacture, then depth of hardening, and seventh one is form and use. So steels basically major classification is amount of carbon, amount of alloying element, amount of deoxidation, grain coarsening characteristics, and then method of manufacturing, then depth of hardening, and form and use. So we can classify steel by this majorly by these 7 ways. So first major classification is amount of carbon. So we have already seen low carbon steel up to 0.30% of carbon. So composition is this, and then properties: soft, ductile, malleable, tough, machinable, and weldable. Okay, as the percentage of carbon is very low, the material or alloy is very soft and ductile. Then applications: wires, nails, rivets, screw, welding rod, gears, valves are mostly the application of low carbon steel. Then medium carbon steel, so 0.30% of carbon to 0.60% of carbon is medium carbon steel, is also known as machinery steels. So the name already suggests. So mostly medium carbon steels are used for manufacturing of machines or machines part. So low carbon steel is application. So this is mostly useful in applications. This is mostly useful in machines and their devices. So properties of medium carbon steel, it is more hard than the low carbon steel, but has some ductility, malleability. So applications are bolts, axle, dies, springs, hammers, rail cylinder liners are the applications of medium carbon steel. Then high carbon steel, so 0.60% carbon to 2% of carbon is also known as tool steels. Okay, so tools are mostly made up of high carbon steel. So high carbon steel are very hard as percent of carbon is increases here. Then wear resistance, then brittle, as material is hard, so brittleness is also increases. Then difficult to machine or weld. Okay, as percentage of carbon is more, hardness is more, then you cannot machine easily. Okay, these carbon steels. Then applications are punches, then chisels, then cutters, files, drills, forging dies. Okay, so mostly tools are made up of high carbon steel. Okay, so by this steel we can manufacture tools, by this steel you can manufacture machines and machine parts, and these are the common applications of the steels. Okay, so you can use these steels and use here, and by these you can machine these low carbon steel. Okay, next, amount of alloying elements and carbon percentage. So alloying elements are nickel, chromium, manganese, tungsten, molybdenum, vanadium. Okay, so low carbons, low alloy steel, first type is. Then composition is 0.008% to 0.30% of carbon and has less than 10% of alloying element. Then properties are good strength, low carbon and high alloy steels. Then composition, same percent of composition, low carbon and more than 10% of alloying elements. Here alloying element percentage is increased. Properties is corrosion resistance. Okay, as the alloying element percentage increases, then alloying corrosion resistance of the metal or alloy is increases. Then medium carbon and low alloy steels, then carbon percentage is increased here, 0.30% to 0.60% and less than 10% of alloying element. The property of this medium carbon low alloy steels, high strength is achieved here. Then medium carbon high alloy steel. Okay, now medium carbon percentage is same and alloying element percentage is increased. So same percent of carbon, more than 10% of alloying element. So good strength and corrosion resistance. If you want good strength and high corrosion resistance, then you can use medium carbon and high alloying steels. The next is high carbon and low alloy steel. Now the percentage of carbon has increased from 0.30 to 0.60, okay, up to 2.0% of carbon and has less than 10% of alloying element which has excellent hardness. Okay, as the percentage of carbon increased, the hardness is also increased. Then last one is high carbon and high alloy steels. Here carbon percentage is same, 0.60 to 2% of carbon, which is maximum percent of carbon in steel, and more than 10% of alloying element. The properties are excellent hardness, excellent wear resistance, excellent corrosion resistance are the main characteristics or properties of these high carbon and high alloy steels. So next classification is amount of deoxidization. So removal of oxygen from molten metal. So deoxidizing agents are aluminum, silica and manganese. So ream steel, okay, so ream means aged. So composition is less than 0.15% of carbon in sheet form. Properties: coarser grain size, soft, ductile, malleable, etc. Applications: deep drawing and forming operations. Okay. Next is killed steel. So here killed means there is no life or no oxygen. So completely removal of oxygen is taken place here. The composition is 0.30 to 2.0% of carbon and or with alloying element. So here we are not concerned about alloying elements, we are concerned about amount of oxygen present or not. So properties are finer grain size, defect free, less segregated structure, isotropic structure, and applications are forging operations. So forging is the one of the manufacturing technique useful for making some components or products. Then semi-killed steel. So partly removal of oxygen or CO2. In CO2 oxygen is present. Okay. So the composition of semi-killed steels are 0.15% to 0.25% of carbon and intermittent grain coarsening, those of reamed and killed. Then applications are sheets, plates and structural steels. Next is grain coarsening characteristics. So during heating, austenite is formed at just above the upper critical temperature and the grains are of smallest size. As temperature increases, grain size may increases. Okay, as temperature as well as with respect to time, if you provide sufficient time, grain size increases. Okay, so coarse grain steels are the steels. Compositions is same as a ream steels. Properties, name already suggests coarse means bigger grain size. As bigger grain size, the material is soft, ductile and malleable. As the bigger grain can easily deform. Okay, because of this easy deformation we got material soft and ductile and malleable. So applications are deep drawing, forming operations, coarse grain steels. Next, fine grain steel. So mostly killed steels are the fine grain steels. So properties: finer grains, defect free, isotropic and forming operations are the mostly applications of this. As the fine grain size, the hardness of these fine grain steels is more than coarse grain steels. So next one is based on the method of manufacture. So this classification does not throw any light on composition and properties of the steel. So basic open heart steels. Okay. Next, electric furnace steels. Then basic oxygen process of. Then acid open hearth. Then acid Bessemer. So these are the methods of manufacturing of steels. So based on this method, we can say the basic open heart steel, the electric furnace steels. Okay. Next is depth of hardening. So based on the depth of hardening, we can classify steels. Non-hardenable steels. So less carbon and almost no alloying element is there. So shallow hardening steel. So medium carbon steels and with or without any alloying elements. Then deep hardening steels. So more carbon and alloying elements are there. Next, according to form and use, steels are classified as boiler steels. So boiler steels with less than 0.2% of carbon. Then case hardening steels less than 0.2% of carbon. Then corrosion and heat resistance steels are the stainless steels. You already know stainless steel are the corrosion free steels or corrosion resistant steel. Then deep drawing steels. So in deep drawing steels which has less than 0.10% of carbon. while you can see here the percentage of carbon is very less. So as the percentage of carbon is very less, material is very ductile and easily can be converted into wires, long wires. Hence, so deep drawing steels with less than 0.10% of carbon. Then electrical steels which has percent of carbon is 0.05% of carbon and present some silica. Okay, so pre-cutting and machining steels, so sulfur, phosphorus, selenium, lead are added here. So machinery steels 0.30% of carbon to 0.55% of carbon is there in machinery steels. So as you know, the hardness of machines component or machine devices must be high, so percent of carbon is more here. Then structural steels, percent of carbon is 0.15% to 0.3% of carbon. Then tool steels, you already know the hardness of tool must be higher than the hardness of workpiece. So the material mostly useful for tool steels are with more than 0.60% of carbon. Next topic is alloy steels. So alloy steels are the steels containing other elements like nickel, manganese, chromium, tungsten, molybdenum and vanadium, etc. So are added to plain carbon steels for enhancement of some mechanical, thermal, physical properties. So mostly purpose of this alloying is to increase the strength, hardness and toughness at low and high temperature. Next, to provide better resistance to wear and abrasive due to presence of the carbide. Next, high hardenability, less tendency to warping and cracking during heat treatment process. Then more uniform properties and high corrosion and oxidation resistance is achieved during alloying or after alloying. Next, effect of alloying elements in steels. So solid solution and strengthen hardening. Phosphorus, silica, manganese, nickel, molybdenum, titanium, then tungsten and aluminum are used for solid solution strengthening or hardening. Next, for formation of carbide, titanium, zirconium, vanadium, niobium, tungsten, molybdenum, chromium, manganese are used. So for formation of intermetallic components, nickel, silica, aluminum, zirconium, vanadium, titanium, then tungsten and chromium are used. So for formation of inclusions, silica, aluminum, molybdenum, chromium, vanadium and titanium is used. Next, for changes in volume during transformation. So for shifting of critical temperatures and eutectoid composition. Austenite stabilizer are nickel, manganese, etc., which lowers the eutectoid temperatures. Then ferrite stabilizer, titanium, molybdenum, which raises the eutectoid temperature. Then lowering of critical cooling rate, manganese, molybdenum, chromium and nickel are used. Next, for producing other effects like corrosion and oxidation, resistance, creep and fatigue strength, increases. So these are alloying elements and their effects on the plain carbon steels. Next, classification of alloying elements. So carbide forming elements, so titanium, zirconium, vanadium, then niobium, tungsten, molybdenum, chromium, manganese are the carbide forming elements. Then graphitizing elements, so silicon, nickel, copper, aluminum are the graphitizing elements. Then neutral elements, so not carbide forming and not a graphitizing elements. So cobalt is the neutral element. Then austenite stabilizer, which stabilize austenite at room temperature. So austenite stabilizer are nickel, manganese, copper, carbon and nitrogen. Next, ferrite stabilizer. So ferrite at room temperature, we stabilize ferrite at room temperature. So elements are chromium, tungsten, molybdenum, vanadium, aluminum, boron, zirconium, niobium, and then phosphorus and titanium. Then next is effect of alloying elements. So aluminum is ferrite hardener, then graphite former and deoxidizer. So these are the major alloying elements added in the plain carbon steel. Next is chromium, mild ferrite hardener, moderate effect on hardenability, then graphite former, resist corrosion and resist abrasion. So mostly chromium are used for corrosion resistance and graphite former. Then cobalt has high effect on ferrite as a hardener, has high red hardness, means which provides hardness at elevated or higher temperature. So mostly cobalt are added for producing tool steels. Then molybdenum. So molybdenum is also useful in tool steels. So molybdenum provides strong effect on hardenability, strong carbide former, high red hardness and increases abrasive resistance. So these are the requirement for great tool. So cobalt, molybdenum, tungsten, these are the some common materials added in tool steels. Then manganese is a strong ferrite hardener. Nickel increases toughness of the hypoeutectoid steel and is the ferrite strengthener. So with chromium retain austenites. Then nickel is also graphite former. Next, copper is austenite stabilizer. Copper improves resistance to corrosion. Then silicon is the ferrite hardener. Silicon increases the magnetic properties in steels. Next is phosphorus. Phosphorus is ferrite hardener. Phosphorus increases or improves machinability and increases the hardenability also.